Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of the Talking Tungsten podcast. I'm your host Kurt from matadordarts.com, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new Harrows launch which came out today. This is actually the second launch Harrows have done in 2023, at least in terms of the autumn. A few weeks ago they did release their 50th anniversary launch where they launched a few darts from their past, sort of remastered with some gold coatings and stuff. If you want to read a summary about that, it's on the website. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. But without further ado, we're going to get into this episode of the podcast and we're going to cover some of the new darts, or all of the new darts and accessories that Harrows have released. So we're going to start off with the Attract, because I think that's probably the most interesting dart, I would say. Now, if you follow Harrows on Instagram or TikTok, you would have seen perhaps a couple of months ago they were installing some new machinery at their headquarters, which is where all of their darts are made. And interestingly, those machines were used to make these darts. So the Attracts are a 95% tungsten dart. They are black coated and feature natural tungsten recuts and also some metallic red coating as well. Harrows call the machining webbed milling, which is a new term for me. It's not something I've heard of before. Perhaps it's something that's made up by Harrows, or it could actually be a manufacturing technique. I'm not 100% sure. What I do like about this dart is that it's not too over the top for a really intricately machined dart. I think sometimes you can go a bit over the top. If you're comparing to other Harrows darts of the past, I think the Fire Inferno was a bit too much in my opinion. It doesn't really look like a practical dart. This, on the other hand, really does look like you can use it and, you know, not be too over the top with grips, be too over the top with worrying about how your dart looks when it flies through the air, that sort of thing. In terms of the cuts, it does remind me a little bit of like a Ryan Searle dart with a bit more pizzazz as such. I really do like the look of the sort of natural tungsten recuts within the machine, within the barrel. It retails for £59.95, which I think for a dart of this quality, 95% coated with 3 different coatings, recut, used new machinery to create it. I think that's actually a really good price in the current market. I think normally you'd expect something like this to retail for probably nearly £80, if not more. So Harrows have done a really good job at keeping the price down on this, and I think part of that is down to everything being made in-house by Harrows. They don't sort of outsource things, they make everything within their own factory. So really well done from Harrows. This is actually the most expensive dart of the launch, which is £60. I think is really good. They're available in 21 to 26 grams in 1 gram increments, so 6 different weights in steel tip at least, and they're also available in 2 weights in soft tip, which are 18 and 20 grams. Overall, I think a really solid dart. Harrows have done really well, as I said, to keep the price down on these, and something definitely worth trying out if you are looking for a nicer looking dart without having to pay over the odds towards the £100 mark. We're going to move on to 2 new player darts now, which are the new Dave Chisnalls and the new Damon Hetas. Dave Chisnalls were probably a bit more obvious as part of the launch because he has actually been using his new darts recently in PDC events. Harrows note that he won the Hungarian Darts Trophy with these darts and also won a Pro Tour event as well. He's also been pretty successful on the tour as well this year, even after changing darts, so it doesn't seem to have too much of an effect on his performances. I think these darts look really good. I think they look much better than his original Harrows darts. They look a bit more similar to his previous darts from Target and A180, mostly just because they are plain silver and gold. But I think the balance of the silver and gold actually looks really nice. There's some really intricate sort of silver recuts and gold coating. I think the balance of the natural tungsten silver and gold is also really good as well. It's not too over the top with the gold, but also it does shine through and looks like a really classy dart. Features a front grip of sort of squared machined cuts. At the very front you've got 3 sort of gold rings, and then as you get towards the middle you have sort of double silver rings, then you have a double gold ring separated by a wider square cut, and then at the rear you've got some 2 sections of micro rings as well, similar to what you see on the Bow Greaves darts. What I actually like about these darts is the nose, which is a bull nose, is actually natural tungsten. It's been recut to be natural tungsten, and what I like about that is if you're playing with these darts and you're clattering the darts into other darts, the gold coating isn't going to chip away from that nose section, which does happen quite quickly. I think it's really smart of Harrows to remove the gold coating from the nose section, because that is the bit that gets beat up the most. These darts again are really well priced in my opinion for someone like Chizzy, who is really popular, and it's got, you know, gold coating and silver recuts. They retail for $46.95, which for a pro player darts nowadays is probably about £10 cheaper than what you'd probably expect them to be. I'd probably nominate most pro player darts, especially someone of Chizzy's level, for a higher end company in my opinion, like Harrows. You're probably looking at like £55 plus, so you're looking at about £9 or £10 cheaper than what you'd probably expect in the current market. These darts are actually available in every weight from 21 to 26 grams as well, in steel tip, and then also 18 and 20 grams in soft tip. Moving on to Damon Heta's darts, this was a bit more of a surprise, I'd say, at least sort of leading up to the launch. We haven't really seen Damon Heta use any new style darts, especially not ones which look like these ones that have been newly released. The only thing that really hinted at it was perhaps some new dart shirts and also some new flights. So the new Damon Heta darts actually feature a very similar profile to his first versions. I think the main differences are within the front grip, which Harrows call a scallop grip, with the really wide sort of not as deep grooves. They've added an extra ring in there, which probably gives a little bit of extra grip, but not too much. Behind those three sections, they've added a micro grip, and then at the rear, they've sort of really gone out there with sort of thin rings and separated with some milled coating. Looks similar to the Harrows Fire Inferno darts in my opinion. It also has red metallic coating in the grooves, which I think sometimes red coating looks a little bit tacky, which I think in my opinion on these darts specifically it does, but I think in my opinion I normally prefer, you know, black coating in grooves, or if not at least sort of red and black alternating coating. I think all red is a little bit too much. Again, these darts retail for $46.95, which again for a pro player dart with this sort of amount of machining and coating, probably about £10 less than what you'd expect, similar to the Chizzy darts. These darts unfortunately are only available in the three weights, which are 21, 23 and 25 grams. I'm not sure why they've done the Chizzies in every weight but not these ones. Not 100% sure. Again though, available in 18 and 20 grams soft tip as well, so good options for soft tip players there too. Moving on, we move to the shard darts. These I think are in a similar vein to the NX90s, which were released earlier this year or later last year, I can't 100% remember. They're actually a really affordable dart. They retail for $35.95, which for a 90% tungsten dart in the modern market is pretty good. The barrel shape is a tapered shape, looks similar to an old style pull limb dart, being at its widest point sort of towards the middle. The nose section is actually quite interesting because they've machined it to be pretty much perfectly sort of transitioned from point to barrel, which I really like when companies do that. It saves you from having to, you know, fit conical points, so if you want a smooth transition from point to barrel, this is absolutely perfect. There's no coatings on this dart, features a pretty standard ring grip, and then towards the nose you have a bit of a micro grip, which I think, looking at the image, may be spiraled, but it might just be what I'm looking at. It kind of looks like a micro grip, but the lines, the cuts, look diagonal, so it could potentially be a spiraled sort of micro grip. I'm not 100% sure. Harrows actually say this dart's ideal for front grippers. I'm not 100% sure that's true. I'd probably say a dart which is fatter in the middle and tapers towards the front is probably more suited to middle or rear grippers. Firstly, because that's where the balance point is. I would usually recommend, especially for new players, to try and grip on or behind the balance point, not that it's absolutely necessary. But also with front tapered darts, you sometimes struggle to get a bit of purchase on the dart, and you struggle to sort of actually push them towards the board, especially with a dart like this, which has a very sort of mild looking level of grip. I probably wouldn't be able to throw these because my fingers would be slipping off the front of the barrel before I got to the point of release. But obviously this is personal preference to what people like. But me personally, I'd recommend these for middle and rear grippers. As I said before, these retail for $35.95 and they're available in 21, 23 and 24 grams, which is a really weird sort of breakdown, but I think they're probably the more popular weights, so that is probably why Harrows have released them in those. They're also available in 18 and 20 grams in soft tip. The last dart we're going to really talk about is the Harrows Control range. They've actually released 2 darts as part of this range, and they are both 80% tungsten. They have released a straight barrel, and they've also released a tapered barrel. I think what they've tried to do here is almost make like cheaper versions of the Chizzy and the Damon Heta darts without sort of branding them. Especially the tapered version, I think they really do look like the Damon Heta darts in terms of their shape. They may be a little bit shorter and a little bit fatter, at least going off the images that I can see. Unfortunately, I don't have the dimensions with me. But they look really good for front grippers with the sort of micro grip towards the front, separated by a smooth section in the middle, and then just some standard ring grip at the back. The parallel version, very similar, features some micro cuts in the middle, varying sort of ring grips across the whole dart, suited for front, middle and rear grippers for both darts because the grip is all the way along the dart. And for an 80% tungsten clean barrel, they retail for $29.95, so a really good option for new players to the game or people who do prefer a 80% tungsten dart. The parallel version is available in 22, 23 and 25 grams, and the tapered version is in 21, 23 and 24 grams. They're also both available in 18 and 20 grams soft tip. Before we go any further and summarise some of the accessories and also the one final set of darts which have been released, if you want to purchase any of these darts, they will be available on premierdarts.co.uk. I'll leave a link to the new Harrows range in the description down below. If you do decide to purchase any of these darts, or for anything else for that matter, on Premier Darts, do use the code MD5 at checkout and it will get you 5% off. It also supports me, this podcast, and also my platforms, and helps build a relationship between myself and Premier Darts as well, meaning we can do more stuff together like giveaways and things like that, which will benefit the viewers of our content. So moving on, we're going to be looking at the Rage darts. These are actually, I believe, a stainless steel dart, so not quite brass, but stainless steel is near enough close to it. These retail for $13.95. They're a front-loaded barrel, almost like a bomb shape. Not really too much to say about them, to be honest. Don't think they'll be overly popular. These are available in 21, 22, 23 and 24 grams in steel tip, and then 18 and 20 grams in soft tip as well. A new addition to the Harrows shafts range now, something which I think was probably needed, is the Alamo version 2. For those of you that don't know, the Alamo is a hybrid shaft is what I call it, so it has an aluminium top, and then it also features a plastic or nylon base which you can screw into the barrel. The Alamo, which actually stands for aluminium and moulded, sort of put together, were actually the first ever shaft of this type that were released, but Harrows have never really released anything of a newer version, and recently, within recent years, we've seen other versions like the Winmore Sabre, Red Dragon Nitro Tech, the Mission Sabre, sorry, Winmore Vector I believe they're called. Target have their own versions as well, I believe, so every company now is starting to release these hybrid style shafts, and it was only right that Harrows, who were the originators of these types of shafts, released a new version as well. These are actually now available as different colours, unlike the original Alamos, which were only available in, I believe, red and black, and also possibly white. These are now available in a range of colours similar to other competitors on the market. Each set of these sells for £1.95, and as with most standard shafts, you can buy them medium, midi and short. Harrows have also released some new flights. I think Harrows flights, although they only usually release them in a small standard shape, I think they do look the best, and they're probably the best manufactured on the market. Harrows have all their own flight processing machines, so they can produce them all in-house, as I've mentioned before. They brought out some new silica ranges of flights, including a plane range as well, which is nice. Harrows really do believe in their silica technology, which is a dart flight which is made really vibrant but also doesn't reflect into your eyes on the board. I think that's actually a pretty standard technology, but Harrows obviously really do stand by it and use it as a selling point. And finally, they've also released some new cases as well. Harrows actually make some really nice cases, and they generally sort of release some every couple of years. They've released the Pocket Case XL and the Pocket Case. The XL version selling for $16.95, and the pocket case selling for $10.95. The pocket case holds 3 fully assembled darts, also has a zipped storage compartment, and it's sold with a storage tube which can fit, points or springs or soft tips in there, whatever you really want, and they come in a range of colours. Similarly, the XL case holds 6 fully assembled darts and again comes with, external storage, and apparently is also large enough to fit a smartphone, wallet or darts accessory, so really interesting with that as well. Harrows also released some rigid EVA foam cases for the players Dave Chisnall, Damon Heta and also Luke Woodhouse in their sort of colours and designs, so if you're a fan of those players, worth checking out those cases as well. And yeah guys, that's it for the summary of this Harrows launch. Hopefully it's not been too boring for you guys. I'm hopefully just going to get episodes like this out every time there is a new product launch. We're also going to be doing other episodes in between and beyond as well, talking about random darts equipment here and there, answering your questions and also hopefully getting on some guests. And yeah guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description down below. Follow us on Spotify and YouTube and all other podcasting platforms, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.